Welcome to Postcards to the Universe with Melissa Caprio. Do you believe in magic? What if you were told that all you had to do was get a little creative and work a magic spell to bring anything you can imagine into your life? Here on Postcards to the Universe, we will share manifesting, tips, postcards, creativity, abundance, and prosperity. Here is your host, Melissa Caprio.
Hey guys, and welcome to Postcards to the Universe with Melissa, creating the life you crave. How is everybody doing? I cannot believe that we are in October already. That is the 10th month, that 2024 is almost over. And I swear to God, I feel like 2024 has been the most bizarre, crazy with the energies in the world like that I've ever experienced. And I feel like I've been saying that a lot every year. So I'm like not challenging. Like next year doesn't have to be more to show us, right? So it's just been nuts. I have such a cool show today. I have Laurie Parente on, and she's a medium, and she channels light language. And after the break, she's going to give us an example, and I can't wait for her to join me in just a couple of minutes. So like I was saying, it's just been like nuts. And I'm in South Florida. So we just had Hurricane Helene, and luckily, us down here, we were fine in South Florida. I know northwest Florida got hit, and I know the Carolinas and Georgia and Virginia, South Carolina, but especially they keep showing near the Asheville area. My prayers are with everybody because I tell everybody those storms are no joke, man. I mean, growing up in Florida, we have storms all the time, and I don't think people realize how powerful they are. So my prayers are with everybody that everybody's safe and recovers quickly. Okay, so to my regulars, thank you so much. Like it's been a crazy couple of weeks. Had to do a replay unexpectedly last week, but I'm back, and thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you for your emails and letting me know you like my show. It means the world. If you're joining me for the first time, I want to say welcome. I hope you keep coming back. Just a little bit about me: I'm an author. I have a book, and I'm also a photographer, by the way. My background is in visual arts. Is My book's called Postcards to the Universe: Harness the Universe's Power and Manifest Your Dreams. And I talk all about manifesting using like kind of like vision boards. They're little manifesting postcards I have people send me, and I photograph them. And when their story showed up in the reality, I shared their story. So that's what the book is about. I was doing live readings. I finished the live readings. You can see those on my social medias: Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. You can see the readings. They're little clips. So that's been fun. And I've been working on my second book, which I finished editing the second draft. I am creating oracle cards to go along with that book of my photos. So that's been a lot of fun. So hopefully I will be announcing that in 2025, that book and the oracle cards are out. And it's just been an adventure, and using creativity for manifesting, I found personally for me, has been a very powerful way to manifest the things that we want. That and gratitude. I think those two things hand in hand is my little magic formula. Everybody has their own. But if you want to know more about creating a manifesting postcard, reach out to me. I talk about how to create one, where to send it on my website, postcardstotheuniverse.com. And please send me them because I love getting them. I love setting the space. I love photographing it. It's just it brings me so much joy to do that. So yeah, please. Oh, and to let everybody know, if you are here for the first time, the show is always recorded live, and then it is put up on a replay. So if you like today's show and you want to listen to some older shows, you can find them on On Times Radio in the archives. Each show has a description, or on my website, postcardstotheuniverse.com, under podcasts. Okay, so let me get to my guest because I'm really excited to talk to Laurie. Laurie Parente is well known in mediumship, angel connections, and meditative healing journeys. As the CEO and founder of Parente Inner Harmony Academy, Lori offers private sessions and quarterly live Reclaim Your Light healing courses. Her passion lies in fostering genuine connections for her clients with their inner wisdom and spiritual support teams. She creates a safe and supportive space for her clients to explore their inner world, release limiting beliefs, and tap into their true potential. With over a decade of experience in the field, Lori brings a wealth of knowledge and expertise to her practice. Her journey into the world of healing and spirituality began later in life in her 40s when she felt a profound calling to explore her innate spiritual gifts and connections. Through her variety of modalities, including energy healing, intuitive guidance, meditative journeys, and by channeling angelic light language, Lori assists clients in reconnecting with their inner wisdom and intuition. She believes that true healing occurs when individuals can align with their soul's purpose and live authentically from a place of love and empowerment. And you can find out more about Lori if you go to her website. And since we are on radio, I'm going to spell it for you. It's www.laurie, Laurie, Parente, Parente.com. Welcome, Lori. Thanks so much for being with me today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so grateful to be here, and I'm very excited to learn more about your book.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's been great doing the second book. It's been a lot of fun. I can't believe it's been like almost 5 years to the day that my first book came out, but time is flying. So, I have noticed, and maybe you
Hmm.
have noticed it too, saying in your bio, reading about you, that you came into the world of healing and spirituality later in life. I'm meeting a lot of women, not that men don't too, but I just tend to meet more women who who at in when they hit middle age, there's a big shift that starts happening
Right.
in their life, and they are opening up to this other, I don't know what the right word is, other world, like that beyond our, our little environments, where there's like what else is out there, what's beyond our own consciousness, right? So how did this all happen for you?
Well, I think if we go back a little further in time, as a kid, I was very in tune. I was
Mhm.
very much connected to the angels and to the spirits. But it was the late 60s, early 70s, and it wasn't really taken all that well. You know, when you tell the neighbor that
Yeah.
there's a huge angel on their lawn and that means someone's going to die, it doesn't go over well, and you're going to kind of get in
No.
trouble, right?
Right.
Um, so I learned very, very early on that it was something that I just held in and I didn't share because every time I tried to share it, it didn't go over well.
Yeah.
And it just, it, 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 it was like that sense in me got muted, if that makes sense. And then as I aged and as I had more experiences, I would have more and more experiences of angels and people and guides, but I just really wouldn't share it. And when I was in my 40s, the pain of not being authentic to who I was and what I came here to do got so loud that I just didn't have any choice anymore. I needed to step into it. And I made that decision, happened to be on Facebook, and there was an ad for a James Von Prague mediumship course, took it, and the very first meditation I did with him just blew me wide open.
Wow. Yeah, so they
Yeah,
were waiting for you. They were just waiting for
they
you.
were. And
Yeah, I
interesting that
really
you
believe
say
that.
that because it was my mom and my nana that came through and they had a Christmas
Mhm.
tree and they were handing me gifts. Like, thank God you're here. Now
Aw.
here's your gifts. Here's your gifts. That was my
Oh, I
first
love
experience of spirits.
I love that. You just gave me goosebumps. Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, I feel like similar, that I was always intuitive as a kid, and I was always into the mystical, but I didn't really talk about it because I didn't feel so safe until I got older. And now I notice I think that's one of the good things about social media is I've noticed more and more people who are, and they're brave, and everybody's coming forward and talking about their own experiences, and I think it is accelerating our growth, right? To a lot, that we're seeing that, hey, I'm not the only one who is kind
Right.
of tapped in. So now you're talk to us a little bit about the angelic light language. And I told you before we came on, I've been seeing more on videos. You're the first person I've met who actually does it that I'm going to be talking to, but I've seen other people do it on videos. What is the angelic light language?
So there's many types of light language, and if you listen to different people, they will channel it differently.
Mm-hmm.
And what I have come to believe is that it is the channeling of my higher self, of that angelic self, and it is a language that bypasses our thinking brain and goes right into us energetically. And it's for healing, it's for activations, and it's for I find a lot of people find real confidence in their ascension journey when they're listening to light language. And it's very interesting because it just bubbles up and it just comes out. And I have worked with groups with light language, and I will have 12 people in the room, and each one of those people will hear what they need to hear, and they will absorb what they need to absorb. And when we talk about it afterwards, they will say, well, I heard this, it sounded like Italian or it sounded like Chinese, but they will all hear it differently. So it's like our higher selves filter it for us, and we get what we need. And it's a healing modality that's really channeled. And it's really beautiful. I first went to someone else who was channeling light language and thought, wow, that was cool. Just wow, yeah, wow. And then about 2 weeks later, I found myself activated in it. And my first response was, uh-oh, I'm crazy. What is this? Even though I had been to this healing and thought it was fabulous, when I started doing it, I thought, this is nuts. And then it just started organically coming out in sessions. And it's not to be understood in the head, it's to be felt in the heart.
Yeah. Well, that makes total sense to me. I just have to tell you, as soon as I asked you the question and you started to answer, my right ear, I started to ring. I got that high pitched tinging in my ear as soon as you started to
Right.
talk about it. So that just gave me confirmation that they're here, right? And they're hearing our conversation because I mean, it was so loud and it was only in one ear. And I just thought, oh,
Right.
that's really interesting that that just happened.
I
So,
normally find that for me, my right ear rings when it's angels and guides and mentors, and my left ear rings when it's more loved ones that are coming through.
oh, interesting. Because usually when I have the ringing, it's my left ear. This was distinct right ear. And that's funny that you just gave me that confirmation. I love that.
There you go.
So, what are you having? What kind of experience are you having when you're channeling? Are you here? Do you remove yourself? Are you in a different kind of a like a trance state? Are you aware of what's happening through you?
I'm absolutely conscious. I think that one of my fears when the channeling first began is that I'd do the whole, I don't know if you would know, this is kind of an older reference, but the Edgar Casey thing where
Yeah,
it was
I
really
know.
scary to watch someone
Mhm.
channel. So I spoke to my guides and my angels, and I said, then they explained it to me that it is coming from my higher self. So it is me. And I find it interesting that I will be channeling the light language, but I'm also thinking at the same time. It's like I'm a tiny bit removed. So
Mhm.
I will hear the sounds come out and I'll be thinking, wow, that's really cool. I wonder it's about this. Like, it's like I'm having two different conversations at the same time.
That's interesting. Yeah, I know
Yeah.
certain people I know will be like, I'm not even there. Like I'm gone and I don't even know
Right.
what was comes through me. So it's interesting. I always like to know everybody's specific experience. So after that first time it happened to you, you thought to yourself like, what were you doing? Like, were you alone and it just happened? I mean, how did you just start channeling angelic light language? Were you in the
Well, it took
shower?
me, yeah, it took me a couple of years to talk about this honestly, but I was on a walk and a butterfly landed on my hand, and we started to
Mm,
speak to each other.
that makes sense.
And
That
it
makes
took a
sense.
while before I realized, whoa, I'm not speaking English to this butterfly. There's light language going back and forth. Um,
Ah, I love
and
that.
that was when I was like, are there men in white coats in a van at the end of this path,
Mhm.
like coming to take me away? Because this is nuts. But then I just settled into it and started working with it more. And I find that all beings of nature will speak back to me in light language in a way that I understand it.
Mm. What did the butterfly say? Do you remember?
I don't know. That's a good question. No one's ever asked me that. I think it was more just of a comfort, like that this is
Okay.
okay, and it's going to be something that you use, and it will help
Okay.
people.
You felt the connection. You felt the heart
Right,
to soul connection, I should say. Yeah. With that.
right,
That's so interesting. And I'm not surprised that you said that uh, everybody experiences it and hears different things because it makes total sense in my mind. Because I've heard a lot of near death people who have near death experiences, and depending on what religion you are, some people who are Catholic or Christian may see Jesus, but then people who are and others may see Buddha, or you know what I'm saying. So I think it shows up for you and where your comfort level is. Kind of, does that make sense? You
mm,
know what I'm saying?
right.
Yeah,
I think it reflects your frame of reference, so
that's
that it is
better.
com-
Yes.
comforting to you. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it reflects your frame of reference. Thank you for giving me the words for it because I couldn't think of the right
You're
words.
welcome.
Yeah, so that's why I believe that the universal God, I'll just say that so it encompasses everything, is we all fall under that universal love and God, and wherever your frame of reference is to get there is fine.
Right.
It's fine.
Right.
And that's why I don't understand people warring over these religions. I just it's like when are we gonna stop this behavior? Do you have any insight on that from your conversations with your spirit guides and angels?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's so generational. There's many places in the world where it's just embedded into the land. Like it's just
Mhm.
part of the land, and it's been going on for perhaps thousands of years, and it's generational and it's conditional, and everyone who is there is just learning it over and over until the brave ones stop the cycle. And I do believe we are in a time where the divine feminine, whether that is presenting in a male or a female body, is going to stand up and say, no more, no more war, no more fighting, no more grief, like just no more, and that this cycle will be broken.
You do. Okay, that's good. I like to ask people who are connected to the other side if they have any insights. Is there anything that we could do for those of us that is it pray for peace? Is it imagine peace? Like I try to imagine a peaceful planet, and I send cooling energy frequency, so it cools down the earth and it cools down our anger. Like that's my visualization that I do every morning for the planet. But is there anything that you would recommend we do?
I love that, and thank you for sharing that. I think it's always having in mind what our sphere of influence is. So,
Mhm.
um, what can you do? People will say, I don't know what to do. Well, what can you do? You can get quiet, you can get heart centered, and you can remember or bring in a frequency of peace. You've felt peace in your life. Bring that peace into your body and then send it all over the world. And I also like to just imagine a child or a mother in an area that is war torn and see myself sending them direct peace.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, yeah. That's why I don't watch the news. But it's not like we can not know what's going on. Can't live in our little bubbles. Although sometimes I try. I try to live in my little
We
bubble.
we try
Right?
and we don't watch the news, but we still feel it energetically.
Yeah.
Like
Oh
yesterday and
yeah.
today, everyone's just heightened. You can just sense it. So
Yeah.
being
Yeah.
able to hold the calm and the peace and the love is what we can do.
Yeah, I agree with you. Now, let's talk a little bit about your mediumship.
Mhm.
Do you connect with Do like clients come to you and say, I want to connect with my parent or grandparent who passed away to see if you can help make a connection? Do you do that? Is that what kind of work you do also?
I do. Um, I find that it's what I do is a little bit different from the traditional evidential mediumship, where a medium
Hmm.
um, will just start whatever they're getting, and
Hmm.
they will say, "Don't feed the medium, just give me a yes, a no, or maybe." I find that
Okay.
I'm what I would call more of a conversational medium, where it's who are you wanting to connect to and why, and let's connect, and then let's also see if you can connect without me, because everyone is a medium. Everyone can
Yeah.
connect. We've just been told we can't, or it's only for special people, or you have to be born
Right.
that way. But we all have this sense, um, beyond our five senses, where we can connect to our loved ones and we can connect to our teams in spirit.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think more of us are opening up to that also. Sometimes I believe that some people are in such deep grief,
Hmm.
when a loved one passes away, that it's very hard for them to do it. And it's wonderful to have somebody like you or other people who do the similar kind of work to be able to connect with a loved one who has passed away. And did this all open up
Absolutely.
for you at the same time as everything else? Because it sounds like you've gotten a lot, like a lot of things came through you around the same time.
Yes. So, um, as I said, I always connected with spirit, but I just didn't share it. And then my mom died when I was in my 20s, and she would come through very, very regularly. And
Mhm.
also, I would always have people, if someone died, I would have them come into my bedroom at night, and I'd know that my friend's dad died. But I just kind of kept it there.
Mm.
And then when I really opened up, I first went down the evidential medium route, and I found that rules are hard for me because I can get really stuck in my head. And so I had to find my way to do it my way to help people, um, to connect. And you're right, when you're in grief, that is the lowest vibration that we can
Mhm.
have. And so it's
Yeah.
like I had it explained to me that, like, when you're in grief, you're like a sloth, and we love sloths, but that's how fast your energy is moving. And spirit's
Yeah.
energy is moving as fast as a hummingbird. So there's no way to
Yeah.
connect. So what you're looking for is something in the middle, that butterfly that can flit around
Mhm.
and connect between the two. And it is, um, when we can connect, and people really what they want to know when they're in grief is, are they okay?
Mhm.
Is there still this relationship? And did I do all the right things? That's what they want to know. And so
Aw.
when they can get those messages, it brings them hope. It brings them that bit of that heart opening, and it lessens their those deep that deep, deep grief. It helps them in their
Yeah.
grief to know that they can connect. And then once they are through some of that deeper grief, I help clients to kind of clean up those human relationships. We have to go through all the stuff that we have to
Yeah.
forgive ourselves and them,
Sure.
and then they can connect on a real soul to soul level, and that's when the relationships get quite magical.
I love that. I love that. Do you connect with people who've lost their animals too, the pets? Do you have that? Do you see those
I
them
I
over there?
I find that right now that sometimes I will see pets, but more for
Mhm.
me, how I connect
Mhm.
with pets right now is when if I'm out and about, I will have pets give me messages. For example, the other day I was walking and I said to a
What's
lady,
that?
"You know what? His paw is sore," and she said, "Yes, he just had an operation." So I find that's more the way I connect to pets.
Oh, I love that. She must have been like, "Oh my god, this lady's psychic." That's great. I love
Right.
that. I know. I love stuff like that. I would love it. I'd be one of the people that I'd be walking around and somebody came up with a message. I would be like totally open. Be like, "Oh, really? Tell me more."
Right? And some people will just look at you like you're,
Yeah.
from some
Mhm.
other planet, and other people will be like, "Okay, thank you," and other people will be like, "Tell me more." And it's wonderful to get to a place in my life where I was muted for so long to have the confidence to just give the messages.
Yeah. Was your mom, did she also do that and keep it private? Did you find this out now that you have a different connection with her, that she's passed on and she comes to you? Did she shut that part of herself down when she was alive?
Boy, you're good. She absolutely did. What had happened was she was quite intuitive. She would always get senses about if people were in danger. But when she would say something, people would call her crazy. So she really shut it down. And then when she saw it in me, she wanted it shut down in me because
Yeah.
she didn't feel that it was a safe way to live.
Well, if we look at history, especially with women, it's not, right?
Right.
I mean, if
Right.
you were
It's
a
that
little
witch wound.
different, it was that, right? It's the witch wound. That's
Yeah.
so funny that you said that because there's a book that just came out and it talks about it's called The Witch Wound. And I just put it on my,
Right.
I was a book I'm going to get because I want to read about that even more because I agree, especially being women. And I'm not surprised that more and more of us women are standing up and speaking up and opening up our throat chakra and reclaiming our feminine, our divine feminine and our magic, right? However you want to look at it. Does you know, I love the word magic. It's just the word I use, but your power, whatever you want to say. So
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, that
very
witch
cool.
wound is something that we all carry, and it's always
Mhm.
also something that we came into this life with the agreement that we would clear it, and we would clear that mother line, and we would clean up that energy for any of the mothers in our line that were abandoned or muted or abused or burnt at the stake or anything that we came here to clear this for that line.
Yeah. Well, then that's why that's good because maybe that's why we're seeing so much darkness because that darkness needs to come up to be healed and
Exactly.
cleared and cleaned. Yeah. So when we're just getting ready to come up to a break. So when we come back, Lori was kind enough. She is going to give us an example of channeling in the light language for maybe like a minute or two. So it's not going to be talking and I'm going to be quiet and you're going to hear her angelic messages. And so let's take our break now and when we come back, we'll get into that. So stay tuned everybody. We'll be right back.
Conscious media for conscious minds. Om Times. Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of Om Times Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of Om Times. Hosting a show on IOM FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
Everyone has a story. I have a story. You have a story. We all have a story. As I see it, you have three choices. Allow your story to define you, use it to excuse you, or utilize it as a method to empower you. It's your life. You have the power. You choose. Rewrite your story on finduniquelyu.com.
My name is Victor Furman. Some call me the Voice. I've always been fascinated with human nature, spirituality, science, and the crossroads at which they meet. Join me Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern on Om Times Radio, and we'll explore these topics and so much more on Destination Unlimited.
Ascending Hearts is no ordinary dating site, but a spiritual dating site with a purpose, to link you with your soulmate. We engineer the serendipity so you can trust that you will attune with someone that has the same matching vibration as you. Ascending Hearts, the conscious dating site for the spiritually aware. Try Ascending Hearts for free, ascendinghearts.com.
Hi, I'm Melissa Caprio from Postcards to the Universe, creating the life you crave. Do you believe in magic? What if I told you all you had to do was get a little creative and work a dream spell to bring anything you can imagine into your life? Well, guess what? I've got the spell for you. Postcards to the Universe, a global movement for manifestation, is a casting magical tool for you to use whenever you want. How does living in passion sound to you? Join me in my movement where you get to create in the magical playground. Let's think outside the box and do some playful conjuring. By casting out our desires with a manifesting postcard, we explore our hearts and allow the alchemy of our dreams to appear. And don't forget to tune in each week here on Om Times Radio with my show, Postcards to the Universe, Creating the Life You Crave at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. I share tips on creativity, abundance, and prosperity, and you will be introduced to the coolest guests, trailblazers, mystics, and creatives who enrich our lives. Hey everybody, and welcome back. So I have a medium and channeler. She channels angelic light language, Laurie Parente, with me, and she is going to give us an example of her channeling. So Laurie, just before you start, just tell everybody what to expect and what.
Sure, sure. So I was just tuning in, and it felt like we're going to do something around self-worth or worthiness. So I would love for everyone to think about something in their life that they are trying to manifest or bring in, but there's this real sense of, oh, I'm not enough, or I don't have enough, or I don't have enough education, or whatever it is in that worthiness piece that is leaving you feel that this isn't something you could do. And what we're going to do is blast through that unworthiness.
Beautiful. All right, everybody. So if you're driving, just listen and come back to it. Okay.
So I can just get everybody to just close your eyes and just roll your shoulders up and back and just deepen your breath. And I want you to bring that dream or that wish or whatever it is that you're wanting to bring into your life, just bring that into focus. And then I want you to imagine a ball of color in front of your heart space. And just suspend any disbelief and see this as a portal, and it's going to bring the energy into your heart to blast that unworthiness piece. Hasata shekona sarayana sopokota sanea tutukurayana satakeshakutia hananana vararata kese tushukurayana sakatotikana manakara sotakiana katka kukatsatikishukatakana satorayana sakatakoyana katukuta tatatapata satatearayana satatateana sakatikia katatusushukorayana pasatikatato hanna satakia sotukuriana tapuputya Satayana Satako Satashe Hasatotoke Hanna Satakatu Kareana Sakoto Shotnanainai Hanamai Soreana Sakatakia Shanatokaya Hanasataya. And so it is. And just take a big deep breath and just notice how you feel.
That was so interesting. I felt like a tugging on my chest, like it was tugging towards that ball of light. Like I felt it.
And did you were you able to feel anything kind of underneath that tugging? Did you get any words or feelings underneath that tugging?
Yeah, like I felt like it felt like it was opening up the tightness. Like it felt like it was pulling the tightness. Sometimes we close off our hearts, so it was like, like if I had a visual, it would be like if you watched old cartoons like Bugs Bunny, and then when they would pull the rabbit hole open, you know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of the visual that I got. Like it was like pulling that open. Yeah. So I thought that was really, really interesting.
And so just widening that lens of love around the situation.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And it's true because for a second it sounded Middle Eastern, and then I got like an Asian. It sounded kind of Asian for a second. Like I heard like Italian and then like I don't know, Arabic. Like it was just like, yeah, it was wild. So do you know what they were saying to us? Or the message behind it?
So it's interesting because our mind will try to make sense of it, and our mind will go like, what language is that, right? And then so we're just dropping in. And I think in some ways that allows our mind to go, oh, this is just kind of interesting rather than this is weird. So I love that. And so what they were really showing me was just kind of like picking out that unworthiness. Like there was almost like um, spiritual tweezers, pulling out those pieces of unworthiness that are ready to release. And then there was just a filling after the release of potentiality.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, and I believe that probably 98% of us on this planet have either felt unworthy at some point in our lives or feel unworthy now, that we don't feel we deserve all the things that we want. Yeah, I really do.
Right? Right?
Mhm.
Because of a story we've been told, or something that we've
Mhm.
taken in, or something that has been inherited has told us,
Mhm.
that we're not good enough for that, or we don't know enough, or that's for other people. But the dreams that are coming in and the things that you are wanting are there for a reason. So
I
it's
think
about
so
stepping
too.
into that worthiness piece and
Mhm.
saying, you know what, I am worthy of this, because otherwise, why would it be here?
Exactly. I always think
Right.
that too. I wouldn't have gotten the idea if I wasn't supposed to do it, and if I'm not supposed to do it, then it's going to leave me and somebody else will pick up the idea. That's why if you ever hear people tell stories like, "Oh, that was such a good idea. I had that idea 10 years ago." But obviously you weren't meant to be the one to bring it forward or you would have, right?
Right.
It went
Maybe you
it
were you were meant to go down the road for a little bit and then hand it to someone else.
Yeah, and
It's like a
hand it to
baton.
someone else. Yeah,
Right.
exactly. So, for people who are listening who really want to connect, I know so many people that I talk to on a regular basis are wanting these deep connections to spirit, and they just don't know how to do it. They don't know what to do. So people who are listening to you who are totally connecting with their guardian angels or angels for guidance or spirit guides, what would you suggest people do?
So, I mean, the first thing that you need to do is figure out how to get back into your body, how to
Mhm.
quiet your mind. So, finding what works for you. I always say, start with some breath work, or start with some tapping. There's tons of
Mhm.
free stuff on YouTube, on social media. Um, Start with a guided meditation. Just find out what works for you,
Mhm.
for how you can get that energy from your head, from your thinking mind, into your heart. And you'll feel yourself drop in, and you'll be like, oh, this works for me. And then once you
Mhm.
find what works for you, explore it. Go down that route, and know that your experience matters, that your voice and your thoughts around this matter, and just keep following where that curiosity leads you. It's a process. Connection is a
Mhm.
process, and it's something that you have to practice. It's like you're learning a new language. It's not hard, it's just different. So if you try it once and say, oh, that never worked for me, then that's going to be your story. It's a process of connecting every day, of going within, finding out how to go within, and then listening. And a lot of people, I find it works really well to have a place where they go. I teach the concept of soul
Mhm.
sanctuary. So decide on where you would like to connect. Is it at the beach? Is it in the forest? Is it in a
Mhm.
cabin in the woods? Is it, at Disneyland? Where do you want to connect? And then go there in meditation once you've learned to go there. And some people are very, very
Mhm.
visual and they can really visualize. Other people will just know they're there, or they will hear more things. Just go with whatever works for you. And set up this soul sanctuary. What does it look like? What does it smell like? What does it sound like? And bring in as many elements as you can. And once you get used to going there and finding that peace and that calm in there, then start inviting your people in and say, will you come sit beside me? Will you hold my hand? Will you talk to me? And just keep going. And it will just get, the word you used is magical. It will get very, very magical for you.
I can't even believe you just said that because that's what I do every day. And
There you go.
I've talked about it on my show before, and I started now I think about 6 months ago, maybe a little bit longer, and I since I live in South Florida and it's always hot, my place to go is a forest, and it's usually autumn when it's brisk and cool and the leaves are changing and it lots of trees and springs and all that. And I have been I meet my sister there every day. My sister passed away 2 years ago. And my I have special she has special needs, and I meet my sister there. And then what started to happen was a dragon showed up. Actually, the first time I
Mm.
went, the dragon showed up. So now my dragon's there every time. But my sister started to show up, and then my grandmother started to show up, and all my animals that have passed on have shown up. And it took me a little bit to kind of stay in it because our minds can distract, but it has centered me so much, and it has done so much to shift my connection to spirit and just ground me in such a way. I
Mhm.
can't even explain what it's done in just 6 months. And it is something I do no matter where I'm at every morning for at
Great.
least 30 minutes. Yeah, but it's crazy
Love
that
it.
you said pick a place because
Right?
I tried the guided meditations and they never really
Mhm.
worked for me. I would go off and everything I had to do for the day, but when I picked my place, my sacred
Mhm.
place, it changed
Right.
for me.
Right.
Mhm.
So my soul sanctuary is a cabin in the woods, and I
Love
like
it.
skip up this paved pathway to it, and there's roses everywhere, and there's a door with
Love it.
roses, and I go in, and there's like one of those white circular couches that's kind of
Oh yeah.
recessed into
Mhm.
the floor, and I
Mhm.
have my healing
Love
light
it.
there, and I have my soul books, and that is where I meet with everybody. And I think I always say start somewhere to learn to go within, and then make your own place, because that's what's going to mean the most to you. Before we
Yeah.
came on the call, you said something about your sister, and I was hearing that um, uh,
Mhm.
Beatles song, Michelle, My Belle. So does that mean anything to you around your sister?
Mm-mm. No, not the Beatles
No.
song. She loved music, but not. I wouldn't say
Right.
the Beatles. No, but yeah, she did love music. Not
Okay.
that song that
And
I
there's
can
no
think of
connection to
anything.
the name Michelle or anything.
Not from my sister. No, I mean one of my closest
Okay.
friends is named Michelle, but she's like one of my best
Okay.
friends. I have a Michelle in that way, but not related to my sister. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Interesting. Interesting.
Hmm.
Just with
But
what I
maybe
was hearing
something.
right before we came
Well,
on.
you know what? I'll ask her tomorrow and I'll see. She'll show me if something is I'm supposed to know something. So, and I'll let you
Right.
know. I'll keep you posted cuz
Thanks.
she gets me
Yeah.
signs all the time.
Right. Right. So I
Yeah.
just heard that song, and so it'd be interesting if you hear that song or something comes up around there. But I love that you
Okay.
have a soul sanctuary. I love that.
Oh my god. And my friend, she has a crystal castle in the sky that she goes to and
Wow.
she meets her mother, her abuelita, all her aunts and her is that your dog?
Sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry.
Is it a shepherd?
uh,
Husky?
she's she's a Staffordshire.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, I could hear
Yeah.
that. I love it. I love dogs. I love
Yeah.
animals. She wants to say hi to everybody. That's okay. Don't worry
Yeah.
about it.
She's so as soon as I open up, she starts hearing everybody and seeing everyone too. Right.
Of course. No, I love
Yeah.
that. But talking about the sanctuary, and she has found that meditation so powerful. So I think we get in our own heads a lot that we think it
Mhm.
has to be a certain way, like especially if you follow some of these more spiritual gurus have big followings and they tell you, oh, do this and do that. And then we feel like we get down on ourselves because then we're like, well, I try, but it's not working for me. Right.
Right.
Like you said,
Right.
you have to find what works for you.
Right. And I love that probably in your soul sanctuary where you said there's streams and there's trees, you're connecting
Hmm.
to all different elements, right?
Hmm.
Um, so, yeah, do what works for you. I think the big thing is that we've spent our whole lives following so many rules and thinking
Yeah.
we need to stay in a particular lane. And when we decide, no, I'm going to do it my way, it's so freeing.
It's so freeing. And it's
Yeah.
very powerful, like super
Hmm.
powerful. And
Right.
I had to experience it to know. you know, to feel it, to know what I'm, and like I said, it's helped me also, just for anybody listening, and maybe it's just helped you too. It's helped me regulate my emotions easier. Has that helped
Right.
you? Yeah.
Yes, you just become so much more calm and more of an observer than someone who reacts to things. You're able to
Mhm.
see things and see them from a broader perspective, see more sides to the story, and kind of take it in and not react. It's just, oh, I see why this is here and I know why this is happening, and I get that. You become the observer in your life, and that is a place of deep, deep calm and peace. And
Yeah.
we're just turning up those internal senses and turning down that external have tos, right?
Yeah. Turning down the
Yeah.
noise. So Laura, you work with clients, right? You have
hmm
one-on-one clients, and do you work with group clients? And can you share some of the experiences, the impactful experiences you've had while working with some of your clients?
Yeah, so I do one-on-ones, and then I
Mhm.
also do 4 times a year. I do a class on Zoom called Reclaim Your Light, where we work
Okay.
on releasing and activating our gifts. And there's so many stories, and I've just actually recently started doing live events where I live,
Hmm.
which has been really fun.
Nice.
So I think I think the biggest one, the one, it was early on, but it was the one that made me go, okay, I'm in the right place. I was working with someone whose aunt had booked her a mediumship session, and it was the day before her wedding, and she did not want to be there. She had so much stuff to do, and she was pulled off to the edge of the road, and stuff started coming through. And this is when I really decided in my mediumship that if the spirits are telling me that the client needs to figure it out for themselves, that it's going to make more of an impact if they say what's going on rather than just this yes, no, maybe stuff. Um, they came through and I was like, okay, I've got 3 images and a message, but they're saying you need to put it together. And so I said the images are white roses, a
Mhm.
dragonfly, but it's in a serpentine, some old fashioned writing, and the message is your grandfather saying he'll be with the flowers at your wedding. And
Okay.
she just went, oh my God. Like, she said the night before at her rehearsal dinner, her maid of honor had given her a dragonfly, a silver dragonfly that goes around the stem of her white roses on her bouquet. And it was inscribed with her grandfather's handwriting.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Oh my
So
God, I
when he
love
was
that.
saying, I'm going
Mhm.
to be with the flowers, and then I really thanked him because I said I could have told her what I saw, but it made
Mhm.
so much more of an impact for her to put the images together.
Right. Oh, I love that. I love
Right.
that. Yeah. So anybody listening, if you want to work with Lori, just tell them. I mean, we still have time to chat. We're not rush. I'm not rushing you off. We still have time. I usually do this at the very end, but since we're talking about it, how is the best way for people to contact you, connect with you if they want to work with you?
So you had mentioned my website,
Mhm.
laurieparente.com. I'm also on Instagram, and that's where I spend most of my time,
Okay.
just at Laurie Parente, LaurieParente. And I always welcome messages. Just message me and ask me questions. I love that.
Okay. And you said that you do your reclaim your light 4 times a year. Do you do it like as each new season starts or at the end of a season? How do you like to do that? And can anybody
Exactly.
join that?
They can. So I do it during the equinoxes and the solstices,
Mhm.
except for December because that's always December
Yeah.
22nd ish, and it's way too close
Yeah.
to Christmas. So we push
Christmas,
that
I
one
know.
into January when everybody's had a little bit of time to relax.
Right.
And it's 3 days. It is recorded. It's 75 minutes each day. And yeah, anyone can join it. It doesn't matter what your level is or how long you've been working on this, or even if you're just curious. We do a lot of releasing and connecting you with your spiritual team and to your inner light and your soul gifts and your mission and your purpose. We have a lot of fun.
Oh, Oh, it sounds like a lot of fun, actually. It does. It really sounds
Yes.
like a lot of fun. And you can do it obviously from the. You don't have to do it in person because or do you have to do it in
No.
person?
No, it's on Zoom. Yeah.
Okay, it's
So
on Zoom.
wherever you
Okay,
are. Yeah.
yeah. No, yeah, I love that more groups are getting together and they're doing this kind of energy work. Let's talk about it. You're also an energetic healer. So can you share a little bit
Right.
about like that work that you do?
Yes. So as you can tell, when people come to me, the sessions are always geared to whatever is going
They
on in
need.
their lives. It's always
Yeah.
very
Mhm.
different. So again, with the angelic frequencies, I hold angelic healing in my heart, in my hand chakras. A lot of light comes through, and I'm
Mm.
able to help people who've been dealing with things physically or mentally or emotionally that sometimes we do the work and it has been ready to let go for a long time, but we just kind of don't know who we are without it. And
Mhm.
it works in the energy healing to release it and to allow people to know that they can be something more than that they've been carrying for so long.
Yeah. I think a lot of people are there's a lot of suffering going on
Yes.
and
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff that people are carrying and that needs to be released and it's
Right.
amazing to me um how much I've been seeing and I don't know this is obviously I'm no doctor or therapist or anything but I notice a lot of people who are being have a lot of mental illness are
Hmm.
probably could be also carrying a lot of old generational wounds that they just
Right.
don't know how to release. And so it's manifesting as a
Right.
mental illness. Like 'cause I can't say anything on that. So don't get mad at me people. Like I'm not saying mental illness isn't real, you
No,
know?
it's very
Like I
real.
don't it's very real, but I'm just
Right.
wondering if there's some sort of an energetic thing going on underneath. What do you
I
think?
I mean, I believe for sure that we can get stuck in the stories of this lifetime and also in the
Mhm.
stories of past generations, and we are holding that energy, and we came here to clear it. So it's tapping into our symptoms that we're having and seeing what's underneath them energetically. And it's not really that difficult. It's a shamanic thing that we do where we look at, where are you feeling, what you're feeling,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
going underneath it. What's the emotion underneath it? Let's get beyond the story and get to the emotion and get to the need. And once we get to that need, then we can give ourselves what it's calling for. Because when we're triggered or these symptoms are coming up,
Mhm.
they're coming up because they're ready to heal.
Mm. Yeah, that's good. That's a good reminder for people who are going through stuff. If things are coming up or you're triggered, it's coming up for you to heal. And sometimes we forget that when we're in our story. We just want it
Right,
to stop or go away. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. So what is
right.
Lori, I want to ask you because I know what do you hope to achieve through your work as a healer and a medium and a channeler and how do you see your field evolving in the future?
You know what? I just want people to awaken to knowing that they're more than just their five senses and their physical reality, that they're so much more
Mhm.
powerful than they know, and that they have so many abilities that they can tap into and they can heal. And the way that we heal is to bring in more of our soul light into our physical expression. And I think we've just been told things aren't possible, but they really are. There's so much more possible than we could ever imagine. And I just want people to open up to the beauty of knowing who they are and how supported they are.
Yeah. Yeah, we forget, right? We forget. I mean,
Right,
we have everyday life. Things are coming at us at a million miles an hour, it feels like, all the
right,
time. It never shuts
right.
off. So we lose ourselves and we
Yeah,
forget our connection to source and to
right.
tap in
I
and
always say to my Right. I say to my angels, you know what? Please remind me how connected I am and all of the powers that I have when I'm busy being human. Please remind me.
Yeah, right. And be
right?
careful because when you say stuff, oh, they'll remind you, right?
Oh, they will.
I know. You just remind me in like a safe, wonderful, beautiful way, please. Like, don't
Right?
remind me
And
by falling off of a cliff and hurting myself so that I have to like go inside.
no, and
Yeah.
you can set up how you want it. Usually for me, it's
Yeah.
ear ringing. I'll be like, oh, my ear's ringing. I need to stop and be present. What's happening here? So, yeah, they will remind you in the way that works for you, for sure.
Yeah. I think so too. I think so too. Is there anything else that we didn't get a chance to talk about with you or anything? Oh, well, look, the music's
Well, there we
starting. I
go.
thought we had another
Right?
minute, but we are out of time. I could talk to you forever. Thank you so much, Laurie. It was such a pleasure having you today. All right,
You are
everybody.
so
Thanks for
welcome. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for listening to Postcards to the Universe with Melissa, creating the life you crave. And I'm wishing everyone a wonderful week filled with joy, abundance, and love. Peace.